What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I got some new news for you concerning Dominic Breazeale. Dominic Breazeale has been very vocal this year. He's getting hungry, and he states that he wants to get in there with Anthony Joshua. That's his latest news. And he says that, it'll haunt him until he can have the opportunity to get in the ring with him. Well, he has to wait in line, and also he did call out Deontay Wilder and called him everything but a child of God because, he was the mandatory fighter for Deontay Wilder. And until Deontay Wilder, he was in negotiations with Anthony Joshua. Now it's almost set in stone that he's going almost booked that he's going to fight Tyson Fury. So that doesn't leave Dominic Breazeale with too many options except the inevitable fight Dillian White, because those two guys were supposed to both be up as mandatories to fight Deontay Wilder. So that's the next best step. He's already lost to Joshua, his only loss. He has 20 wins. No, he has 20 fights, 19 wins, only one loss. His noticeable win is by Izu Ugono, and that was a really good fight. The third round was spectacular. You know what I mean? I remember that fight. I think it got like fight of round of the year for that round 3. And it was a good comeback fight, and he proved that he still belongs in the heavyweight division, at least in the higher rankings. And I just think he's getting hungry, and he's a little thirsty right now. And I think he should stay that way because, he needs to fight someone like Dillian White because there's levels to this. He had an opportunity, just like White, to fight for the almost the undisputed championship of the world, the WBA, the WBO, and the IBF. And actually the IBO too. So, he had an opportunity to get all those belts at one point, but, it fell through the cracks. He was stopped in the 7th round by Anthony Joshua. So, he wants that rematch. Why not? You know what I mean? And then it makes sense too for him to want to fight with Anthony Joshua, even though he's a mandatory for Deontay Wilder, because no one knows what Deontay Wilder is going to do. No one knows what's in store for him. He could fight Tyson Fury, and then he could fight Tyson Fury twice. So, he'll be booked up for a while. And if he gets past Tyson Fury, he's going to call out Joshua. So where does that leave Dominic Breazeale? Kind of in limbo like everyone else that's waiting their turn. Him, Parker, So Dominic Breazeale has to get back on the A train, and start. And how he gets on the A train by getting on the B train, right? Fighting Dillian White, taking him out the eliminator, and being the mandatory, and then just wait his turn after that. So his war is his next step, fighting that top tier guy, knock that guy off, take him out of the totem pole rankings, you know what I'm saying? Because, he needs to fight another tough guy. And Izu Ngono was, and then you think about it, he beat Ngono, and that was surprised to see that. I thought Ngono was going to take him out, and, and they both were down. They both dropped each other, but, Dominic Breazeale showed that he had something, okay? And it depends on what that something is. So that's yet to be, revealed. You know what I mean? It was enough to take out. That something was enough to take out Ngono, and he was just a young fighter, just like Dominic Breazeale. So, he overcame in that bout. Will he do that against someone like Deontay Wilder? Will he rise to the occasion, or will he crumble like he did with Joshua? Who knows? We only have to know that. We have to know where to place Dominic Breazeale right now. But in his 20th fight, he has one loss. And he's still there. His nickname is Trouble, and he could be trouble. Who knows? But I think he deserves a shot. I did think if Deontay Wilder's brother was farther along, he could get a fight with Dominic Breazeale. You know what I mean? And kind of lure, Deontay into a fight, by knocking out his brother, beating his brother. But his brother's, this is his second pro fight. You know what I mean? I know that's premature or whatever. But, if he gets a string of wins, like say 10 or 11 wins, you know what I mean? He might want to step up and fight Dominic Breazeale just out of some kind of grudge match because those guys don't get along and they got into it actually. And Dominic Breazeale took that really personally because his family was involved. So why not? So I get that. And, as far as Joshua, I can understand him wanting Joshua. I know he wants to, settle the score, get revenge or redemption or whatever you want to call it. But I think, honestly, it's the money. I think that has a big play in it. He liked that payday that he received across that pond. You know what I mean? So I think that has something to play in it. Just, my intuition tells me like, you know what, Dominic, you want that money. You know what I mean? Because you're closer in the WBC rankings than you would be from fighting Joshua again. So I don't see how he would want to just fight Joshua in a rematch. You know what I'm saying? But I guess it would be easier to fight Joshua since Joshua's next opponent is Prevekin. So maybe we'll see, but he did have some targeted names like Dillian White, like Jarrell Miller, and that would be a good fight too for Dominic Breazeale. I would wonder who would win out of that fight. Because, Big Baby, he's good, but I see he's lacking something. He's lacking power, not necessarily stamina. He's just a big boy. He's a big baby, right? But I would like to see what he can do against someone that has a better skill set than Dunapas, because that was his last opponent. So, yeah, I would like to see that, and then he already took Ogono's 1-0, you know what I mean? Let's see if he can take another O from another fighter. So that's something to think about too, man. And Dominic Breazeale, he deserves a shot. Dillian White, well, he had his shot, and Luis Ortiz had his shot. Dillian White had his shot. So all these guys have one loss, and they're all to either one or two fighters. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I don't know if Joshua would give him a rematch because I don't know. I mean, he could, but then it's what does a fighter do to deserve or to earn that rematch with a fighter that's already beat him in the way Joshua beat him? And they squared off, and and I like that. Joshua didn't back down. He actually got kind of pissed. You know what I mean? Don't back down like the other Americans. You know what I mean? Yeah, good. And it was like he was pissed off because he looked at he took it that Dominic tried to disrespect him, and I don't really think that's what it was. I think he was more or less trying to show him like, hey, I'm the opponent or whatever. But Joshua, he didn't see it that way. So I mean, it could be something. I would rather much see Breazeale fight Deontay because we know what he can do against Joshua. He says he's learned a lot and stuff like that, and a lot of things that he could have done that he's learned since then. But then, I want to see what he does on the other side, with an unorthodox, a dangerous, a tall, another different style of fighter. I would like to see what Dominic Breazeale would do with him since they have bad blood and they don't like each other anyway. I don't see why that fight shouldn't happen. You know what I mean? Or you could look at it like, okay, well, he's no longer. I know he made the statement about Joshua. Is he just kind of giving up on the idea of fighting Deontay Wilder? So it's a lot of dynamics you got to look at that with him. So, but anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Dominic the Trouble Breazeale. Please subscribe, and you guys been counterpunched. Peace.